Oh, hi, it's old Pie and PanAnning. Welcome you back to Let's Badly Dub Phoenix Wright.
We're in the final stretch, guys. Only 3 parts left.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. uh, this is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma? For that matter. It also seems as if...
Something's been happening behind the scenes.
Edgeworth.
Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is. I think I said 172, but it doesn't fucking matter.
That usual running gag. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Ooh, look at me, I am in black and white. Looks like I'm not the only one who figured it out.
You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt on this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything.
True, not yet.
In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling on the defendant. 5 minutes after the trial starts, Lana will be found guilty.
But she didn't do it!
I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say.
This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her.
The truth?
Everything goes back to that SL9 incident.
Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past.
That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened.
I'll think about it. See you in court, right?
Bastard. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. District Court, courtroom number 9.
To number 9.
Number 9 Lodge. Number 6 with extra dick. The court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement.
Huh?
But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Oh God, Chief Gant. Oh, here he is, bastard.
He's back.
Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Archie boy, haven't been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as in my work. That's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Blackmailing piece of shit.
What's this all about, defendant?
I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me. On February of 21 of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana! Objection, slam. You can't! Your Honor, the defense This claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana,
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may like direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well then, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, and although this is an unprecedented situation, indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. No fucking way. I'm sweating. It appears that the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant...
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this point would be certainly premature.
Come now, worthy boy. I understand that it's a difficult time for you, but why don't you be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut?
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With the sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal. Not everyone operates as you do, worthy boy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh? To whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Sky. I request the court hears her testimony.
Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue.
I don't care what you think, Miss Sky. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy boy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words.
Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Take the horse from behind.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
The long silence.
My name is Emma Sky. My occupation, I'm Alana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you one more time to recall these events.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember that this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Oh boy.
It begins.
Emma Sky on the map. Stand. I was about to say on the mound. I'm thinking baseball here. Shit.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. You Marshall rescued me. I'll never forget when I saw that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
Who wouldn't take her hostage? NCS. Sorry. It's a good thing that you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
Before we begin to the cross-examination, oh bye, man. Please keep your comments to yourself. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth. What does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense begin his cross-examination. Hope you like pressing, because that's what we're going to do. We need some information.
Actually, technically, there's only one statement you need to press, but whatever.
2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes. She was second in command under Chief Detective Gant, my sister. She was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Chief Detective Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite a pair.
I believe they shared the same office.
That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ.
Go with this. Playing that organ, she says.
I wanted to play it that day too.
I'm pretty sure you did.
It's a musical instrumental by, and the police department and prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Mama promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
She was the dinner. Hold it. A man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran to the Sky and Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
I saw him. What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Detective Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Gant was there too.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but
Hold it. Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. I want to hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes? I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Let's ask about the picture. This picture with the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning.
But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost.
Not necessarily so. I happen to have it here. Objection. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all of her heart into drawing that picture. Slam. And yet you still insist on denying its existence.
Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's this?
Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew!
Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me? Well...
Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What? What?
Ruffle. Order. Who would have thought the picture would have been drawn on the back of the list?
That was handed to Detective Goodman in the questioning room?
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means slam, Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's possible. Let's see.
I remember this. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask?
Sorry, Your Honor. There's something drawn on the back of my list. This is that thing.
Yeah. That's that thing. That thing was dancing in the evidence room.
Apparently, the head of criminal affairs used this for his blueprint.
I guess he was out of scrap paper. Very well. Witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seems to be thinking about something when she saw that picture. Witness's testimony. Emma's picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant.
To think of a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about the murder prosecutor near Marshall.
Hmm.
The defense will now begin its cross-examination.
Okay, the contradiction is not that simple, but there's only one thing you need to present on the last statement, I think.
Really?
Now the question is, does Opire remember?
Hold
But
it.
he doesn't because he's going to press.
I'm going to press. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the detective team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Scott.
2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? I have a reason, but I should not say it on camera. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Dark had a tight grip on me, and when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt.
What happened after the lightning flashed?
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. You really need to torture this girl any further?
What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture.
Slam. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course! This is the exact scene!
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detective? Slam.
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated our memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not. I better watch out or he'll might find some way to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. So I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Well, that's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet, there's clearly a contradiction here.
So yes, do you remember what the contradiction is? It is on this statement, yes.
Stabbed in the back. Died from the picture. Nail-tip was in the wound.
Keep in mind the part where it mentions the knife tip.
Right,
And look at the image again.
right. Doesn't look like he's gonna get stabbed in the back.
That's not the problem. The problem is the fact that, you know, it looks like a broken knife.
Oh, that's
Already.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But it shouldn't be broken since he wasn't stabbed yet.
Right.
So what does that mean? It's
Something.
clearly a contradiction.
Right. I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but this picture the witness drew contained a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report, the tip of the damn knife?
Indeed. Yeah, pretty much.
The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a good look at the knife this man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. In fact, you don't even have to look closely to see that.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Huh? Where could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, yeah, he was stabbed twice. Actually, it's like the heart and lung. And then the murder weapon would want to be broken as well. Ah, what is the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
No. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness memory is mistaken.
Objection. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure that she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly.
But there is no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Objection. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About the little something called falsified evidence?
You're treading on thin ice, right?
All I'm saying is that this broken knife might be the piece of evidence that was forged. Cannot deny the possibility.
Ah!
Rubber. Order. Are you saying that this investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors' award at the ceremony, their marshal questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie.
I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife.
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? Yes.
There's another one.
Emma's mistaken. If the witness is the admin about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Observational error.
Mr. Wright.
Sorry, I said that wrong. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then you might have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon.
Now,
This
is grasping, but it also makes sense.
Kinda, yes.
It also makes sense as to why it's no longer on the actual thing
Yeah, look at this.
anymore. But there's more to that story, which we'll see later.
Oh yeah, take that. The answer lies within the past. 2 years have passed. Right here, inside this picture. Right!
Hey! This is a picture of this award ceremony. Ah!
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the The broken murder weapon.
Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in the picture was Joe Dark's knife, was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was all likelihood this award. Order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and a broken knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
But that can't be.
Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because if the knife of King of Prosecutor award knife was a murder weapon, then T, because the screen froze. The murderer and the victim would be reversed.
Then T. What do you mean?
I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusion.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it?
could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled in the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that?
That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
This freaking song.
All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Deep inside you, you say. Perhaps it would be best
Oh,
if we had-
bye. Watch what you're saying.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony and prevent themselves from any inconsistent testimony from the peanut gallery up there. Would you please tell us what you recall, Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger. This should be interesting.
When I saw that man raise his neck, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow.
God damn it, Tong.
This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. The head detective of criminal affairs didn't even design him until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense will begin his cross-examination.
Stop! Please! Don't pursue this any further!
Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this! I've already confessed to the crime! Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky, you've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence!
Silence!
The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of this. Matter.
You wanna speedrun this part? Cause it's annoying.
Why you don't want
If you want to speed run this part, press the fifth statement.
Oh my god, okay, fine, I'll take your word for it. Hold it. His shadow. So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all?
That's right, but I still remember it. He had three creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
Objection. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I
just might know.
The blue badger hadn't even been dreamed up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she is certain that she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, Monica number 5.
Monica number 5.
God damn it. Okay. It is
Monica number 5.
It is the defendant's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright!
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is this that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike. The vase.
Yeah,
or the
an
jar.
unstable jar.
I call it the vase, but the jar. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar.
Well, Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like a blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them. I gotta show them.
It's
the correct
time for
angle.
more DS features.
I remember when
I believe you want to rotate it this way 180 degrees and then do a little bit higher like that. That should be good. I think.
I remember when I first played this. This took me a while to get.
Yeah. No, higher. No. Like that. That should be fine.
Let's see. There we go. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger.
No, it can't be.
Oh, but it is. Order, order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. It doesn't change anything.
Objection. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed? Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw the jar?
Huh. It's the location.
Surprisingly, any answers will lead to the correct thing.
Oh, really?
But yeah, the location is
because it's
technically the problem.
I said this because the where it's positioned. It's like it's in the air or some shit like that. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Oh. That's wait a minute. Is that an error actually?
Not only that, but she saw it at a very specific angle. I'm not sure why it's Edgeworth saying that.
I know, I think that's supposed to be me. Knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Well, the location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf in the office behind David Kane.
But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testifies to herself.
Objection. Slam. Yes, and it is these two facts that revealed what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chinkan's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gat's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason it was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana's tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She says she knocked away from the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. I just realized flew through the air. It's supposed to be T.
Yeah,
that was grammar.
Wrong verb.
Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention onto this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf of the jar he was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. Since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to been Neil Marshall wielding the prosecutor's award.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorized, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall,
You mean
Uh-oh.
Mr. Marshall died because of me?
And a loud sounding no. Thud.
Dud. Dud! I never imagined their testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Oh.
Jackson! What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Sky, but given the circumstances...
True Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall! How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her?
Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it?
I assure you, Mr. Edward, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have to have proof. Tell me. Do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed you, Marshall?
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, and it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony.
The screen froze for a second.
Oh,
I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
we certainly can't get dead people to testify. This
Oh
is-
Maya!
This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
Touche, Miss Guy. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. Somehow.
That's impossible!
Well, Mr. Wright?
Check your feelings, Lana. You know it to be true.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence.
It is in the evidence.
This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright! Please stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murderer!
Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys the message from the deceased. The damn,
Hey, guess what? It's the same thing we showed earlier.
the damn jar. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is it gonna just be the killer's name?
If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you'll see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
It looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood.
So,
What you're saying is these dots were once lines.
I heard that. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar when the line changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent.
no!
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect the dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. The murderer's name.
So yes, DS feature, we're playing Connect the fucking dots. No. That's not it at all.
Wait, really?
You messed up.
Did
I don't know if you can actually change that.
Hold on, wait.
Because it's supposed to be an M.
Oh, I did. Oh, wait, no. I can still do it. Oh, I thought yeah, I don't think I can go back on this. Shit. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't think I can erase that. That sucks.
Egg. Yes, that's the name of the murder.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I get
Oh,
it.
god
There we go. I fixed it.
damn. FIXD.
There we go. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove his client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I ever thought would turn out like this. Emma.
So, this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind.
Oh shit. Of all people, she may have not meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. See, Weather Boy? Can't just say I didn't warn you.
Chief Gant.
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
Joe, 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his fatal murder. I believe you, the prosecutor in the case, were united. Yes, Weather Boy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Objection! Slam. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That is undeniable. I'm afraid that's not a point. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man's death is no light matter, even if there was any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. And then all hell breaks loose.
What's going on at the prosecutor's office?
And I've sent an innocent man to his death.
How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault?
Order, 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 order! All hell breaks loose again. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Hell.
That's right, there's still 2 parts left.
God damn it. So second to last part due up next time. Let's belly dope this shit. God damn.